Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Andrew Townsend. I'm an e-learning evangelist here at eLearning Brothers, and also displayed here with me is Drew Young, our trade show manager here at eLearning Brothers. Today we're going to be giving you a preview of the DevLearn eLearning Rockstars stage that eLearning Brothers is sponsoring this year. This webinar will be recorded. You'll get a copy of it in your email following the webinar. And if you want to come back and see that later on our website, that will be made available to you as well. We have a ton of great people with us today. Like I mentioned, we have Drew Young. We also have Stephen Bayer, John Blackman, Mike Ruska, Chris Willis, Bill Milstead, John Cavalier, BillWest, Misty Harding, and Andrew Sibley. Big lineup, big portion of our presenters on that Rockstar stage. So thank you all of you for joining us today. If you have questions during the webinar, we will try to get to as many of them as we can. We will be using that questions panel, so please use that as you need it. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and pass the baton over to you, Drew.
Hey, thanks, Andrew. As he mentioned, I'm our trade show manager, and when I came on earlier this year, DevLearn was this thing that people talked about. For eLearning Brothers, DevLearn is a big deal, and this year we're bringing more to it than we ever have before, and obviously the stage that we're focusing on today is a big part of that, but I just want to mention a few other things that we'd like you to be aware of to expect from eLearning Brothers at this conference. Obviously we have this lineup of the stage, but we also have James Kingsley, who's going to be presenting in a couple different sessions. Misty Harding is going to be leading a pre-conference workshop, and we'll be attaching information on both of them and their presentations in the follow-up email to the webinar. Also, we want you to be aware of some things that we're giving away there. We're going to have 2,000 t-shirts that we designed especially for this conference. We'd like you to all come by the booth, stop by, grab a t-shirt, say hello. And then we'll have another a big giveaway on Thursday at 2:35. We'll be giving away over $10,000 worth of prizes, products of our own, and perhaps some from some of our friends. In addition to that, again, this stage is the big deal, but something we want you to be aware of coming into DevLearn is that eLearning Brothers, we still excel at everything that you know us for, but this year we're bringing more products and innovative things than we've ever had at any other conference, and we're excited to be doing that here at DevLearn. So we want you to be aware of those. You'll hear about them, and we'll send out some information in the follow-up email. But for now, we want to go ahead and do what we're here to do, and that's hear from our presenters from the learning stage. And again, we have 9 presenters with us today, but there will be more with us on the stage. But let's go ahead and get started with that. Our first presenter is Mr. Stephen Bayer. He comes to us from the Game Agency, and he's going to be talking to us a little bit about his presentation on effectiveness of gaming. Stephen.
So first of all, like everybody else, certainly really excited about next week's event, and hope you can come check out my talk. We're going to be talking about training your brain with games, and we're going to really go through a bunch of things. If you can jump to the next slide, the premise of this whole presentation is how do you take really smart instructional design and really polished gameplay and marry the two? And quite honestly, we found over the last 10 years, when you do so right, you really are able to build a truly engaged, educated, motivated workforce. One of the things that I think is certainly a theme of what I heard from some of the other presenters is you want to be able to give them some content that they're going to want to play, not have to play, want to engage with, want to share, want to come back to, and that's a lot of what we do with game design. If you go to the next slide, we're going to talk about 3 things in particular. So first thing is we're going to talk about what makes training games effective. You know, there's lots of ineffective training games, and we're going to see how we can avoid those things and look at what can make them truly useful experiences. We're going to talk about 6 different types of game mechanics, and I'm going to walk you through different ones and how they marry to different learning objectives. And the last thing is we're going to get out of our seats and we're going to play 4 different games. And I really want to get your hands-on material and try to think about what you can use and give you tools that you can bring back to your office really the next day. So very much looking forward to it, and hope that you'll be able to check out my presentation.
Hey, thanks, Stephen. That sounds like a lot of fun. We're excited to see the rest of that presentation and get the rest of that information. We appreciate you being with us. Next up, we have John Blackman. He comes to us from Trivanis. He's the Chief Technology Officer there, and he's going to be talking to us about responsive learning. John, go ahead.
Hey there, Drew. Thank you very much. I want to start with a warning. Drew said that the eLearning Brothers are coming bigger than they've ever been before. If you've ever seen how many people they usually bring to DevLearn, this could be very scary. But having said that, again, thank you. My name is John Blackman. I'm a co-founder and Chief Technology Officer of Trivantis. And at DevLearn next week, I'll be talking about responsive design. So I'm going to start by going through a bit of the history of e-learning design, discussing the pros and cons of the different methods that we've all used in the past and how that brings us into where we're going. I'm going to start by talking about the rules of the road for responsive design. And by rules of the road, we're talking about just a way to get in the mindset to create responsive content. The important thing to remember is that when you design responsively, you need to think differently than you do when creating fixed-size courses. Most of us started our careers creating statically sized courses. It's just the way things were done. Everyone was taking courses on PCs, perhaps even standardized corporate PCs, so you didn't have to worry about things changing. You just designed for the size of the corporate screen, and you were good to go. Well, now, when your job is to take that 10-hour, resource-intensive course you created a couple of years ago and get it running on a phone in portrait mode in a couple of days, you need a bit of upfront planning and a little bit different way of thinking in order to save you a lot of time in the end. So then I'm going to go through some best practices for creating responsive content using Lectora. Lectora is our flagship product. So I'm going to go through tips and tricks and things you need to create the best content with the least amount of effort, which, let's face it, that's what we all want to do. And we'll wind it up discovering offerings from the eLearning Brothers library, which can make all of that so much easier for you all along the way. So I'm looking forward to my time at DevLearn, especially for being able to present on something called the Rockstar stage, because it seems like if you had to pick a stage to be at, that's where you'd want to be. So I'll see you there.
Hey, thanks, John. Outstanding. I think you're dead right on that. We're excited to be sponsoring the stage and to have the kind of material that we're already hearing about. We appreciate you sharing with us today. Next up, we're going to go ahead and move on to Mike Ruska, who comes to us from Problem Solutions, and he's going to be talking about why should I care about XAPI. Mike, take it away.
Thanks. I'm super stoked about this Rockstar stage. Happy to be jamming with the rest of the folks on here. I think it's going to be super exciting. Looking forward to meeting all of you. Look, learning ecosystems are a place where people, technology, and resources are organized in a manner to support and grow people. Sounds like a great idea, but how do you actually get there? There are tons, you could skip some slides if possible. There are tons of emerging technologies and approaches that can support and play into your learning ecosystem. Keep going. This map, though, has really been growing. Been working with BillWest and others in the industry. One more slide. Be awesome. This landscape, though, is just about to get more complex. There are a ton of technologies here, and ADL created SCORM, and it emerged and accelerated the $5 billion LMS and $160 billion e-learning market. SCORM was required by the government through a Department of Defense instruction, and consequently, a lot of people put a lot of investments in that space. We've worked really hard over the last 9 years to develop the Experience API. Just a few weeks ago, the Secretary of Defense signed an updated DOTI that requires XAPI. That's great news. Now we're going to see massive amount of new investments in technologies that make or use XAPI data. Bad news is your potential learning ecosystem is going to get even more complex. From a business standpoint, the learning ecosystem has a number of building blocks that you can unpack. Yet, it's still a complex play between business strategy, technology, measurement, people, process, and content. We're going to discuss how to lasso the complexity of your learning ecosystem. We're going to talk about how to leverage products that use XAPI to accelerate the functionality of your learning ecosystem. We'll also look at tools like this learning ecosystem canvas, which is the next slide, that will help you figure out how to move from the now to the how and onto your future. If you want to understand why you might be building a learning ecosystem, including its business value, you should join us. If you want to understand how XAPI is going to change the map for your future, you should also be there. If your goal is to start down a road that will ultimately get you a high five from your executive team for the value you create in learning and performance and people development, then you should join me at the DevLearn eLearning Rockstar stage.
As you can see, thanks a lot, Mike. We appreciate that. This kind of material, you can see why it's called the Rockstar stage. These people are rock stars in this industry, and we're thrilled to have them with us. Thank you very much, Mike. Next up, we have one of our own in-house rock stars in Chris Willis. She's a senior product manager for us here over at Customizable Courseware. Chris, why don't you take it away?
Thanks, Drew. So, hey there, rock stars. We're going to flip through these slides real quick here. There we go. We all know that soft skills are the attributes that help us get work done at work. We know that soft skills help reduce training. Soft skills training helps reduce turnover and risk. Sales is literally the lifeblood of every organization. Next slide. Sales training increases your pipeline and helps you close deals. So at my session, I'm going to show you how to do both of those faster, more effectively, and more efficiently using eLearning Brothers customizable courseware. Come to my session and I'll show you how you can roll out a year's worth of soft skills, customized soft skills and/or sales training in just a few short weeks or even less. So I'll look forward to seeing you at DevLearn.
Chris, we're looking forward to that too. Thank you very much for sharing just a little preview of what we're going to see from you on the Rockstar stage. Moving right along, we have Bill Milstead with us next. He's also an eLearning Brothers senior designer and developer at eLearning Brothers. Bill's going to talk to us about building games in Storyline. Bill, go ahead.
Hi guys, so my name's Bill, and I built a game using Storyline 3's built-in functionality for everything. No JavaScript, just variables and triggers. So, to lure you in a bit, I'll give you a brief overview of the game, right? So it's called Evelyn's Quest, and it follows a girl named Evelyn, who's chosen for her purity of heart to find and defeat an evil darkness consuming her world. She encounters several characters along the way. Some of those provide assistance, others harm her. When she's harmed, Evelyn can visit a magical spring to refresh her health by answering challenges, and at several additional points along the journey, she has to solve puzzles to earn rewards necessary to defeat the bosses that she encounters, right? So real gameplay, but in Storyline 3, and customizable by you. So in my DevLearn presentation, I'm going to walk everyone through how we got from concept to final publish on the game, kind of a high-level overview. And then towards the end, we're going to take a look at a few really useful practical tips and tricks so you take your game development game to the next level in Storyline 3. Right? I'm also going to try to work to pull some of this together into a takeaway that you can refer to and experiment with. So specifically, we're going to be covering steps to take for a one-man shop approach to game development, an overview of each stage in the process with a few supporting references, visuals of how the product evolved along the way, and some lessons learned from a development perspective. Right? Toward the end, again, I'll be looking at cool features in Storyline 3, so how they work in the game and how you can use them. Simple custom-built timers, pseudo-randomization, cool motion path features, appearance and position-based triggers like checking position with variables and how to create that, object intersections, leaving and entering slides, using state changers to trigger events, right? So it's a ton to try to pack in there, but should all be pretty useful and interesting. So hope to see you at DevLearn. Thanks.
Hey, thanks, Bill. Appreciate it. From the feedback we've gotten already on this game, I think this is going to be something that people are really interested there. We're excited, and I'm sure that people, as they see this, are going to want to hear more about what you just shared with us. Thanks for joining us today. Next up, we're going to hear from Josh Cavalier from Lodestone. He's a CEO and founder there. And Josh couldn't join us today, but he sent something pretty special in his stead. He prepared a little video, and we're going to go ahead and roll that now.
Oh, there's blackjack and poker and the roulette wheel. sport you won and lost on every deal. All you need's a strong heart and nerves of steel. Oh, Viva Las Vegas! Oh, hey guys! How's it going? Josh Cavalier with Lodestone. As you can see, I am getting ready for my presentation at the eLearning Brothers eLearning Rockstar stage at DevLearn. My session is going to be on micro video strategies for Rockstars. This session will explore what it takes to create an end-to-end micro video strategy. Chunking, bite-sized micro. We've seen these terms thrown around in L&D magazines and on blog posts, but what does it truly mean to shorten content, specifically video? We'll discuss strategies for planning, creating, and distributing your micro video content that will make you look like an L&D rock star. You know guys, mobile devices has made it incredibly easy to consume content anywhere and everywhere that you want. But to create short form videos that are effective for learning, it's more than just shortening down the video. We'll take a look at specific methodologies that you can implement to make effective learning videos. I'll discuss the brain science behind why certain types of learning videos work and why some don't. We'll talk about specific micro video structures that are highly engaging for learners. And we'll also discuss the importance of video analytics. So please join me Thursday, 10 a.m. on the eLearning Rockstar stage immediately following the keynote for my session, Micro Video Strategies for Rockstars. Hey, I'll see you guys then. Viva Las Vegas! Viva Las Vegas! Viva! Viva Las Vegas!
We can all expect to be entertained by Josh, and he sounds like he's got a lot of good information as well. So we thank him for sending that over so that we could preview that for you guys. Next up, we have BillWest, who's one of our own again. And Bill is going to be talking to us about the state of the early industry. And Bill, with your signature hat, take it away.
Yeah, thanks. It's a tough act to follow. I don't get my cute little video, and I'm not going to sing to you, but I do have the hat on. That's what everybody wants to see. I'm really, really fortunate. One of the true rock stars in the industry is Dr. Michael Allen, good friend of mine from a really long time. This industry may not exist without this gentleman. So we're going to get a chance to talk for an exciting hour, really at the advent of his new book. You remember he wrote the book that's really become the guide for everybody back in the 90s. He's just come out with his second edition. So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about the future and the potential of e-learning, and really the theme being that we're not there yet. Where there's some really exciting things going on with e-learning right now, great new technologies such as virtual reality and XAPI, and we're getting into artificial intelligence and all these amazing things, and new techniques, adaptive learning and social learning and the use of games. And all these amazing things are coming about that we can take advantage of, but we're dealing with the same problems right now. And the same problems are, how do we come up with an instructional design that actually works using these techniques? How do we come up with a process that allows us to build solutions and pull this together? And how do we bake in innovation? I had a client once say, everybody wants to do innovation, but they can't get the meat and potatoes right. So we're going to focus on how to solve those issues, really have some great dialogue on cases, and then at the end, Michael's going to stick around and do a book signing. So if you grab one of his books, you'll get a chance to spend a few minutes with Michael, one of the most charming personalities I've ever met, and quite frankly, our industry would not exist without this gentleman. So looking forward to that session.
Hey, thanks, Bill. Appreciate it. Thank you for bringing up the book signing. And you're probably not one to toot your own horn, but BillWest has a book that he'll be signing in our booth as well, and we'll have details in that in the information that we send out afterwards. Hey, there you go. Toot that horn. We're excited to have you with us, Bill. Thank you for joining us. Next up, sorry, just a moment. We have Misty Harding, who is one of our own rock stars once again. She is going to be talking to us about a case study with PayPal.
Thanks, Drew.
Misty, go right ahead.
Thank you. So I'm really excited to be speaking with Steve Dorn, who's the Director of Learning and Development over at PayPal. We have had the privilege of a really strong partnership with PayPal. They're one of those people that you just really enjoy working with because they're always pushing you to be better. They're not just wanting to turn things out, they're wanting to truly come in and see how they can make the most, and not even make the most out of the e-learning space, but push beyond it. And so in this session, what we're going to be sharing is what we've been able to achieve together through the benefits of innovative partnership. And Drew, if you could go back one slide. We'll be talking about how we work together to look at things differently and figure out what innovations we could apply that would help make up for some of the downfalls of what the learner goes through in the e-learning environment. So for example, that it's asynchronous and they're not connected to other people, and that it's one experience. So how can it be personalized to a learner? These were things that we wanted to try to overcome. And so on the next slide, Drew, what we're going to be sharing in the session will be 3 case studies from 3 projects that we've done that are award-winning projects. Drew, you can move forward. These 3 cases are, what we're going to be sharing are the what problems were we trying to solve, what solutions did we come up with, what have been the data and the results, and we're also going to talk about some of the technology. So there's 3. The first, how can we make asynchronous experiences feel more connected for the learner? It was a big goal for them, and we'll show you what we did. We're also going to talk about getting personalized learning outputs from an e-learning experience, and then also showcase some compliance training that we were able to partner with them to build that has been so successful in their organization, people are taking it voluntarily. They haven't even had to mandate it. It's going by word of mouth, it's spreading naturally, people are interested in it, people are talking about it. So we're going to talk about how we designed that. Drew, you can move forward. And then we're going to show you very specific examples of the solutions that we developed in each one of these cases. And then one more slide, Drew. We're also going to briefly highlight the type of technology that we used and we're able to fold into Storyline to create those experiences. We'll be available for questions. We'll go through examples of each one. We'll go through the technology of each one, and then it'll be available for questions after the session. But we also have one of the products that we're going to be showing in here will be featured in DemoFest as well. So we'll hope that you'll stop by at DemoFest and check that product out too.
Hey, thank you, Misty. Appreciate that. Do you want to mention just a little bit about the pre-conference workshop as well?
Sure, yeah. I'll be doing a full day session on October 24th. It's adaptive storyboarding tools for every project. So there's 4 primary tools that we'll be talking about. Smart outlines or executive summaries. We'll be talking about blueprinting. We'll be talking about wireframing. And we'll also be talking about doing serious visual storyboarding. So it's a full day session. There's still room. You can sign up. You can come join me. It's a bring your own laptop session. So we'll be working with a case study, and all the participants will walk away having built all 4 of these work products, and we're passing out templates that people can take back to their organization and customize for them and for their use. So whether you're internal, whether you're a vendor, we have military, we have education people coming, whether you're a consultant, it would all apply to you.
Yeah, sounds like a pretty amazing opportunity. Thank you for giving them a little bit about that as well. BillWest, you had another session that you're going to be presenting. Do you want to hop back on and share a little bit about that?
Oh, yeah. I got this new book, and I just can't put it down. I'm sorry. Yeah, my next presentation, I get to team up with one of our great clients, Frank Glover, over at PG&E, and we're going to talk about the outsourcing process, specifically how to make a vendor relationship work out. Second edition of my book came out this year called Rockstar Vendors, and I did a lot of research in the industry, did a series of studies with Brandon Hall on the outsourcing process, why it works and why it doesn't. 63% of the time, the outsourcing relationship fails, and the client has to replace their vendor. Well, why is that? So we're going to focus on, in Frank's eyes, what makes a really successful relationship with your vendor. How can you ensure that you're going to be successful and they're going to be successful? I'll also go over what I call the 7 attributes, the things to look for in your vendor, and as a vendor, the things to do to improve your relationship with your clients. So we'll have some good data, we'll have some good lessons learned, and be able to share some stories back and forth. It's always been a good session, and I hope everybody gets a lot out of it.
Hey, thanks a lot, Bill. We appreciate that. And man, I got to get my hands on that book. It looks like a page turner.
Well, afterwards I can sign a copy for you.
You're too kind. I'm a little bit lost for words here.
Bye, y'all.
All right, thanks for joining us. We're about ready to wrap things up, but our last presenter that we have with us today is Mr. Andrew Civili. He's a co-founder and CEO at eLearning Brothers, and he is on this hot trend as well. Oh no, it put him out. That's unfortunate.
Oh, hey guys.
Is that what happens when you work from home? You pass right out, Andrew?
I had to get dressed today, though. I was just reading this book. Mine's pretty cool. I've got an autograph in the middle there. So you guys may want to check that book out on the stage. So anyway, my session, I'm looking into the future. This is my looking into the future pose. We're going to be talking about authoring tools of the future. And what we've decided to do is hold a panel discussion with 4 individuals. And the 4 individuals, we have John Blackman, who you heard from a little bit earlier in this presentation, from Trivantis. He's the CTO there, one of the founders of Trivantis, kind of built that product from the ground up. Tons of technical experience in e-learning. Akshay, the Captivate product manager over at Adobe. He's been there for, I think, at least 8 or 9 years and really mapping out the present and future of Captivate. We've got Mike Alcock, the managing director of Gomo, and he was also with Atlantic Link before. Again, tons of experience building e-learning software. And then we've got Tanya from iSpring. She is currently the head of quality and assurance over there. And so what we wanted to do is talk to these 4 individuals who have really built the framework and the technology of a lot of these authoring tools and say, what's it going to be like in the future? What features are people asking for, and where do you think it's going to be? AR and VR is massive. How do you think our authoring tools are going to handle that? What things and what ideas are really getting you excited? What are the things that get you out of bed in the morning and make you jump it? I guess I'm working at home, but make you run into the office and really dig into to that software and figure out what could it be like. Talking about desktop tools and online tools, and will it be mobile based? How will we be building our e-learning? And with so many people being able to build it, do authoring tools maybe feel the need to help people learn how to build better e-learning and not just technically how to build buttons and things like that, but what about instructional design? Will that be factoring into some of the tool development? So anyway, there's tons of things we could talk about, and these 4 individuals, again, they have the technical know-how and they have the experience in this industry, and we're super excited and privileged to have them. And after listening to all the panelists today, I'm honored to be on that stage. There's some amazing talent there and some amazing insight, and I'm excited to see it. Thanks, Drew.
Hey, thanks a lot, Andrew. Yeah, listening to all the presenters today and just having a little glimpse of what they're going to be sharing with us, it's pretty exciting that we were able to put this together. And I can tell you, this has been in the works a long time, and there was a lot of effort to get the best possible things, and I think we really nailed it, and we were lucky to have the people that we have with us. For those who aren't going to be able to clock into the whole webinar, we put together a little video that we're going to be putting out there for people to kind of give a little preview of what we're going to be doing at DevLearn. So we haven't shown that to anyone yet, so we're going to show that first here, and that's going to roll right now.
eLearning Brothers is getting ready to go to DevLearn. You already know that we lead the industry with our templates and custom work, but this year we've got some real game changers to tell you about.
First off, we've sponsored a stage. All throughout the expo, we'll have industry thought leaders and shapers share their insights with you.
We've added new libraries such as the Icon Library, the Training Arcade, and 2 full libraries in our customizable course we're offering. And don't forget about our always growing template, PowerPoint, and cutout people libraries that you've come to know and love.
We've also expanded the scope and abilities of our custom team, including XAPI, more immersive game development, and strategic partnerships.
Look, if you've come to DevLearn, it's because you want to up your e-learning game. No matter your role, we've got something new to make you an eLearning Rockstar. Come to our booth, pick up a free t-shirt, and ask us what we can do for you. We'll see you in Vegas.
We really appreciate everyone who participated in the webinar for us today to help give a preview of what we're going to see on the Rockstar learning stage. And that's what we had prepared for you today.
So we've got a lot of really cool things planned for you at DevLearn on these topics, and to talk about the products that we have to offer for you. I'm going to send out an email to everybody here in the next few hours that'll include links to the stage schedule, so you can have that, links to some other information about what we're offering, what new stuff we're bringing to DevLearn, and we're really excited. I mean, you can see we've got tons of amazing people coming to the stage. eLearning Brothers is going to be there in full force at DevLearn, and it's just going to be awesome. Come talk to us, see what we can do for you. Come to the stage, see what the industry is doing, see how you can benefit from the eLearning Rockstars. And we're really excited. We'll see you at Vegas. So thank you again. Drew, Stephen, John, Mike, Chris, Bill, Josh, Bill, again, Misty, and Andrew for joining us. I know it's a lot to take an hour out of your day to come and help us, but we appreciate it, and we're excited to see everybody at Vegas.
Thanks. See you there.
Woo, viva Las Vegas!